South Africa's consumer price inflation has increased for a third consecutive month to 5.9% from 5.4% recorded the previous month. This follows recent marginal declines from record highs reached last year, which sparked the country's Reserve Bank's aggressive interest rate hiking cycle. The main contributing factors have been noted in food, non-alcoholic beverages, transport, as well as housing and utilities. We speak now to Newzroom Afrika's business reporter on Ntokozo Khumalo, on the implications of this. Ntokozo, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dudu. Well, we've been on the road just speaking to entrepreneurs that are specifically in the food and non-alcohol beverages sector, which is the one that saw the highest inflation at 8.7% in October. So really trying to get an understanding on how they're playing that balancing act of, surviving the rising inflation, interest rates, but also balancing with keeping prices fair for consumers. And I am now joined by one such entrepreneur. Thank you so much for talking to us. Perhaps just give us some insights into your business first. Tell us about yourself and what it is that you do and how you are navigating around this rising inflation, because you are directly consumer facing. How do you manage that?
Well, TK, I'm Nadine. I own a few businesses, all in the health food industry. So we process, we pack, and we source lots of healthy foods. We do lots of seeds, lots of grains. We have brands called Newseed, and we also have a health food emporium where people can come and buy health foods at a really affordable price.
And what's that affordable price, Nadine? Because
exactly.
So under pressure, and I think this is a question that I asked Vuye a little bit earlier on when it comes to his smoothies and his health drinks, is a lot of people already, we think, living a healthy lifestyle is expensive, under a whole lot of pressure. How are you balancing that then to find that affordable price point?
So that's exactly our issue. It's because our heart is to give the best possible price to the consumer. We're not here to try and make a profit on people. Our heart is literally to please try and get people in South Africa as healthy as possible. And, the reason why we actually started this business is because people said to me, it's too expensive to eat healthy. And I was like, that is so unfair for everybody in this country. Everyone should have the right to eat healthy. So unfortunately, we are facing issues in this country. We are facing, higher interest rates, and we are facing load shedding, for packing premises, that type of thing. So at the moment, what we've actually done is, instead of trying to get, generators and that type of thing, we've actually employed more people to hand pack a lot of our products in order for us to obviously try and keep the momentum going in the factory, and obviously to try and create more jobs. But unfortunately, with the rising inflation, is obviously our margins start to deteriorate. And that's where it becomes difficult to give proper increases at the end of the year and try and give really nice bonuses for people to go home and have a great Christmas. So that really kind of brings everything down for us. But we all just hold together and just pray that next year will be better, and just try and cut, the luxuries or anything that we can in order to make sure that our staff are still getting what they need.
And economists are expecting some easing in the first half of next year. But what you also face as a business owner, as you're talking about margins, is then the effects of rising interest rates. How's that balancing act? Because I imagine with your machinery and the cost of machinery and so on, that also adds to some of your costs of manufacturing these products.
Absolutely. So obviously all our operating costs go up when these things happen, which means that really deteriorates our margins. So what we try and do is we can try and absorb it as long as we can. However, then that gets passed on to the retailer and then passed on to the consumer, which is really sad, which is not what we want to happen. So what we'll do is we'll probably hold on to see if there's any easing off next year, and see before we do any knee-jerk actions to to pass that price increase over onto the customer.
And if you understand these premises, we are going to go to see the shop in a bit, which is in the mall just across the road.
Yes.
But perhaps talk us back to, or pull us back to the manufacturing side of it, that economic growth necessary for us to get a control on both inflation and interest rates. How are you planning to just grow? You're a business lady running several other businesses. What do you see any expansion in the horizon anytime soon, while still ensuring you have a good price points for consumers?
So our big plan is to partner up with South African farmers. I find we're doing a lot of import of raw materials, which is totally and utterly unnecessary.
And with the logistical crisis, or the logistics crisis
at the
now,
moment, yes, which is crazy. So what we would like to do is partner up with local farmers. I mean, we're packing things like linseeds and sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. That's everything we can grow here in this country that we're bringing in from the likes of India or China, which is absolutely ridiculous. So our long-term plan is to partner with farmers and to secure their crops and to be able to make South Africa grow within itself, that we don't have to branch out to any of the other countries to help. So, yeah.
And where do you see those opportunities for growth, Nadine? South Africa, a lot of businesses saying the market is rather small in South Africa and we should look external for some of those opportunities. Where do you see additional markets opening up for a brand like yours?
So actually we're doing a lot of conversations with Dubai at the moment, with the UAE. Our government actually assists us in going to do exhibitions in Dubai to be able to sell over into those markets. We are also talking to the UK. So that is, we do have slightly more premium products, which does suit that market. If we could bring some of those pounds into this country, we would be very, very happy to do so. So that is obviously a big focus of ours, to really get as much export as we can. But the real heart of our business is to really look after our South Africans' health.
Nadine, thank you so much for giving us those insights, and of course an entrepreneur that is out in Joburg, just highlighting how they are managing to balance growing a business with that rising inflation, but also the rising interest rates that does make manufacturing a little bit more expensive, especially if you do have machinery to make the products that we did see here. And Dudu, earlier on I did speak to Momentum Investments when it comes to what their expectations are when it comes to that inflation trend, as well as whether the SARB will actually be able to hold when it announces that final interest rate for the year, and whether we could start seeing some easing as we go into the new year. Let's listen to what the Momentum Investments economist had to say in that regard.
Okay, Ntokozo Khumalo, unfortunately we do not have that bite or plate a little bit later on for our viewers. For now, we say thank you very much for that report.